Test. Alright, alright. Let's see if this works. Hey, Story. Okay. So just checking that, yes, okay. Seems to be, the stream seems to be on. Alright. So, my goal for this stream today is to re-implement a jam game that we made with some friends 6 months ago in my own engine. And the reason is that it will allow me to test a little bit the capabilities of the engine, and also as we go to improve the tools. For example, the game is a Metroidvania, so it has a tile map, and I would really like to improve the tile map editing capabilities of my engine, because right now it has barely none. And I think this project could also work as a sample project if somebody else wants to use the engine later on and make a platformer. They could look at this one, perhaps. The engine is not public yet, but at some point I hope to make it public. And so let's have a little look at the game. This is the game jam page of the game, and as you can see, it looks like a platformer. You play as a little child. Let's see if I can run the web version right now. Alright, so you play as this kid. I ignore that text, I think it was for debugging purposes. So you run around and find, in this case, a little flute, and you meet animals like this frog. And I don't know if you have the audio on the stream, I don't think so, but this frog plays a little melody, and you can repeat that melody with the keyboard. So I'll try. Okay, so I play the wrong note. Okay, almost there. Okay, now I played the correct melody, and so I turn into a frog. And by holding left and right, I can jump, and that's the new ability I got, because when I was a kid, I couldn't jump, so I couldn't go back up that ledge. And here I cannot push this boulder, so I'm stuck. I have to go back. And so it's, yeah, a basic Metroidvania. Now I can get to the right, now that I'm a frog. And here we have some platforming. And so I won't spoil it if you want to try it. Oh, nice. You got the death loop bug still in the game. Shit, I thought we fixed that. But yeah, so you play as many different animals, and they all have different abilities. For example, the dragon here is burning down a tree. And so in this game I didn't actually program. I'm usually a programmer, but in this game I did the pixel art for the characters and the tiles, and also the level design. And we used Godot, and so that's the project. Here you can see the levels, or the screens of the level. And so the goal will be to kind of replicate that gameplay in my engine. And so let's get started with that. So I already prepared a little setup. So we should be able to run the game like this. I based my starting state on a test I did a while ago for tile maps. And this test is very simple. It's basically, hold on, it's basic tile map rendering capabilities and editing capabilities. So basically a grid, and in each grid cell I draw a different sprite depending on what is stored on the tile map storage. I'll show you later on. And the nice touch is that it has some auto tiling capabilities. So you can see as I draw, the tiles adapt depending on their neighbors on simple rules. And that I think is already pretty, like, almost sufficient. In Godot we did some kind of setup with the tile, so I'm very bad with Godot, that's part of why I want to port this game, but I don't have much experience with Godot, and we struggle a little bit to set up the auto tiling, but I think so let's see. So here we have the tile map, and I think if I click on the tiles, oh yeah, so we have patterns, terrain, I think that must be it, grounds, right. So where do I actually set the patterns? Oh, yeah, okay, there is a tile map editor and a tile set editor, okay, that's it. And then when I get there, so my goal would also be to try to not complicate too much the setup process. So I guess if you know what you are doing, it's easy to set up, but as I don't really know, I just wanted to show the rules. Where are the rules? It's been a while. It's been 7 months since we touched that project. Anyway, it's not really an issue, but can I at least paint a little bit on the tile map? I remember, yeah, okay, so I should select terrain, and then the pen, and then, okay, so I should use the tile map layer node now. Okay, so I can't even draw. I guess I should select a tile actually. That makes sense, right? Patterns, no. Should I select any tile? Oh my god. Yeah, that's... I have some... I'm pretty disappointed. Okay. Grounds? Yes. Alright, okay. Okay. So we managed to do basically the same thing. Except there is like bugs, because I set it up wrong, I think, perhaps. But for me it was terribly confusing, the auto tiling in Godot, how it works, and kind of tedious to set up as well, like that I had to do selections of shapes. Yeah, I failed to remember where it was. Maybe this. Terrain. Alright, anyway, I'll stop there. But point is, I want to try to do something less, like, even if I have to hard code some stuff in code, that's okay. As long as it's like easier to use later on. And here, how it works right now for the tile map is, so let's go to tile map, tile map .c, alright. That's the whole code that draws the tile map. It's a little bit messy, it's an experiment, but the important part is oh, sorry, I didn't check the chat. Funny that the grass is also applied on the bottom, haha. Yeah. Is it? Or is it in Godot? No. Is the grass applied on the bottom? Not sure. Is the tile map editor in the same exe as the game? Yes, absolutely. For now, everything is in the same exe. By the way, what am I exactly running right now? Oh yeah, tile map test. Okay, and so if I run Wildwood Melodies, which is the title of the game. Then you can see the tilemap editor is included in the game. That doesn't exist yet, but it will be included. And what I usually do is I have a key to swap between editing mode and gameplay mode. So you can even like play a little bit, then hit the key, and then the tilemap, this little window pops up, and you get to change the level. Then you go back into gameplay mode, and so you can iterate quite quickly. And yeah, was the grass applied? On the bottom. Oh, okay, I gotcha. Yeah, here, yes. I think it's because when I draw a tile, I check the tile below, and in this case, I guess if it's below, I return like true as to pretend it's solid. I think that's why. And it's also funny that when you draw, it changes. I think that's because when I do the auto tiling for the little ornaments on top of the tiles, I use a random seed, and it gets changed every time something is added. So here, if those flowers get added, so it shifts. It basically shifts the random seed rate one tick. Yeah, okay, gotcha. So, where was I? Oh yes, on the in the code side. So we got that tilemap struct, which is like represents what is drawn on the screen here. So the basically the cells, and it has a tile set, which contains the sprites of all the cells, and multiple layers. So it's already kind of the basis is there for a more complete system. And then we got the coordinates of the top left cell. The idea is that it will allow me to make a tile map that you can dynamically extend. So if I were to like pan the camera and draw to the left of the tile map, I want that the tile map automatically expands. And so for that, I will need to try the coordinates of the minimum cell. I explain it quite badly, but let's say I want to draw to the left of the origin, then the coordinates will start to be negative to allow me to draw in the negative. We'll see later if needed. Then the cell count is how many cells you have on both directions. That's basically a vector 2 in integer with the integer type. And that's the size of a tile. And the selected layer. And then if we are editing or not, I added that recently so that when I click, when this checkbox is not checked, it doesn't modify for another game where I wanted to use the mouse for gameplay. But I need to make that a little better. And that's a little selector for the layer, so I can draw in layer 1, but it doesn't render right now either. So yes, it's a work in progress. But what I would really like to try and implement today already is a rectangle selection or rectangle drawing mode, because currently you can paint, but it's really annoying and tedious to fill in regions of the tile map. So I think that's what I'm gonna do first. And to do that, so let's think a little bit. I guess I should already see in the code where the interaction for drawing takes place. And I think that's, so we have a little section here, editor. Editor, So the selected tile represents which tile we selected in the tile sheet. And for now, the one tile is hard-coded to be the ground. So the auto-tiling works with that knowledge, basically. And so here we could store like the modes when we draw. Like if we want to draw a rectangle, we could say is currently drawing rectangle. So is a rect mode or something, or the painting mode could be stored there. Then what do we have? We have that's for the auto tiling, definitely, and then blah blah blah. That's the auto tiling, hard coded, pretty rough, but it works. That's the rendering, and I think the interaction is also in the render code. So yes, so here we loop through all the tiles of a layer, and we do that for all layers. And for each tile, if we are editing, and if we are talking about the layer that is selected currently, we check if the mouse is over the rectangle. If it is, then we do that logic, which is the editing logic. And what could be nice, I think, is to also maybe have a preview of what tile you are hovering. And to do that, I could perhaps, let's see, I could draw a rectangle. So if I draw a rectangle on top, color with alpha, so a transparent rectangle. So now everything is white because I'm not checking for the hover. But now let's extract this condition into a boolean hovering, and draw the transparent rectangle only when we hover. Alright, so now we have already a preview of which tile we hover. And what would be really nice is to have an actual preview of, I'm hesitating, but an actual preview of the tile itself. Like if I place a mushroom, I perhaps want to see the mushroom already on the tile map. Maybe faded, a little bit faded. I'm not too sure about that. I think that's how Godot does it. And it asks the question of, do I preview the auto tiling as well? And for that, I think I would like to at some point, but I'll have to see. But now let's do things in order. Let's maybe do something so that we can draw filled rectangles of ground. And so for that, I think maybe a nice way to do that would be with a modifier key. So if I hold like Shift and then drag, it could draw a rectangle in the region. So let's see. I suppose for that I should track where, in which cell the edit is starting. So I'll go to where I store the states about editing. Was it really there? We had the, where is the selected tile, for example? Selected tile, editor state. Okay, so I guess my thinking was that I should put the editor state here, and the editing is still there for some reason. So I could move editing here. To do move to editor up, and so I'll store a starting position for the rect. Rect editing edit region starts, perhaps something like this. Oops. And then ends. and then that would be the start of the rect, and that actually the end we don't really need because it can just be the mouse position, right? So let's jump back to the editing code. Okay. So let me think. So we hover. Now when we click down the mouse button, if we don't hold shift, we just put down a tile. If we do hold shift, I think we should not put down the tile, but remember where we started editing, like set the starting region coordinates, and then okay. So let's already start that. So if we hover, oh sorry, that's not the correct place. Okay, yeah, that was the one. Okay, so if we hover, if we are holding shift, and that's key is down, and then key shift, left shift. Should also do a right shift probably. So maybe that's not the most beautiful way to access which modifier key is down, but that we'll have to do for now, right? Okay, and so perhaps we can put that in a bool, like draw rect mode, or just rect mode. That way we can reuse it. And so if we are not in rect mode, we do the usual thing of drawing single tile. By the way, this is to remove the tile with the right mouse button. Mouse. Okay, I thought I had some function for the right mouse button, but okay. If we pass the button, it works as well. Okay, so that's edit or draw single cell, and then else draw right. Alright. And so what I said is, when you click the button, I should store the starting location, the starting coordinates. So where was that? It was. It's been a little while, so I need to remember. Map editing, and that was supposed to go into the editor. And where was? Oh yeah, here. TM ed. That's a weird name. Tile map editor, I guess. That's fine. Okay. Okay. And edit region start will be then will be easy. It will be just the tile that we are looking at, so X, Y, right? Okay. And that's not if the mouse is down, actually, that's if it was just pressed, because the difference is in this mode where you would just draw one tile, you want to continuously draw, and in the mode where you drag a rectangle, we want to remember the starting position at the start and not draw until we release the button. So we got our region start. I suppose now, if we have a region start, what I want to do first is draw a rectangle just like this, but that covers the whole thing. So so now I'm thinking, okay, so I need somehow to I need to find the current coordinates. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I think, so my thinking is I need to find the current mouse coordinates. Okay, because if I want to draw the preview, the selection preview, when I'm, okay, so I want to draw this this transparent overlay for every tile that is included in the editing region, so in the rectangle that we are currently drawing. And to check that, I need, of course, the start of the region, but also the end. And I could store the end here, but I'd rather not store it, since we can just deduce it from the mouse position. And so to deduce it from the mouse position, I can do that outside of the loop that draws the individual tiles. So I'll do it here. So let's go vector2 integer, and that would be mouse cell or something like this, and chord. And I think I already have something for that. Tile map chord from pose. I think that's pretty. That's what we want, and that's the position in a world space, like with the transformation, the current transformation applied. And for that, I should check. So let's see. I have this mouse over rect. I think it's using. Let's see. It's using the transformed mouse position. That's in the engine code. So we can bring that here. And then yes, this helper function that is in the same file needs the tile size for some reason. So map. Actually, yeah, I should simplify it probably. Tile pixel. All right. And that's not correct for some reason. Tile size, it's a float. Ooh, okay. And our map stores a vector2 for the tile position for non-square cells, I guess. So what I could do here is just adapt it. Tile size here will be or you know what, I will just put a to-do and actually use vec2 for the tile size, because I want to make progress on our current problem. So what I can do here is just pass x, since all tiles are square. That should do it. And I will just track that variable. It's not possible with okay, let's do it in 2. I guess I didn't implement track for vector2s. It's a little helper macro that will draw the value that you specify here on the screen normally. Yeah, I disabled it by default, I guess. But so okay, so it seems to be working. You can see the mouse cell chords, or maybe you can't. I don't know if it's too small. But it seems to be sensible values. Okay, so now we can just use those mouse cell coordinates to determine if we are or not in the editing region, basically. So here, instead of just checking if we are hovering, in the rect mode we should check if we are in the region. So so how to do that easily, I guess. So we have two pairs of coordinates, and we want to know like the current mouse position and the starting of the rect. and we have the coordinates of the tile we are drawing. So I'll just do a little helper function between, or maybe even like included. Let's just go like this, vec2 integer begin or a or start, rect start, rect end, it will be inclusive, and then cell or chord. That's quite bad. Okay, then I want to know if my chord is between the start or the end and the end. So chord x is smaller than the start, and or bigger, I guess, bigger or equal, and the chord is smaller or equal than the end. Okay, but we also want to return true if we do, like, if start and end are swapped, I think, because it doesn't matter in which way you drag your rect. So I guess I could say smaller or equal here, and bigger or equal. That's for one dimension. We want to do the same on the other dimension. So let's duplicate it and just replace the y's, the x with y's. Up. Should maybe use search and replace, but okay. I really hope I didn't mess it up. And of course, both axes needs to be okay. What did I do? So maybe I can do it in 2 lines just for readability. All right. Okay. Okay, so let's see. So here, instead of just hovering, we'll do like hovering or included, and then or tm region start and or mouse cell chord, and finally the chords of the cell that we are currently drawing. So we are still in the loop, so it will get executed for every cell. Alright, okay. So now we are starting to see some rectangles. Okay, and so if I hold shift and click, it should set the start of the rectangle. Alright, yes, it works. Okay, hold shift, click, it sets the start of the rectangle, and then I can move around. Up, okay. That's already something. And now, so I guess what's important is so trying to think about when to trigger the drawing of all those styles. If you really shift before, for example, if you so first of all, it's a bit annoying because we are constantly in this rect mode. So if we do not hold shift, I think we should just stop drawing this rect. And how do we do that? Where is my shift? Rect mode can go outside here, and here we can say if we are hovering the cell, or we are in rect mode and the cell is included, of course it's not, yeah, it's not perfect, but yeah, okay. So now it's drawing the rect only, it's in rect mode only when I hold shift. And what I would like is that as long as I'm not currently holding down the mouse, that it doesn't draw this rect as well. So it is getting a bit unwieldy, but I'll still try. So no, I guess why not put it here as well. So if I'm not holding down the mouse button down, that's the left mouse button, and I'm holding either shift buttons, then we are in rect mode, otherwise not. So up. Okay, so now the rect interaction seems more or less correct. I see some flashing of, oh yeah, there is a 1 frame flash. I don't know if you see it on the stream, which I'm not sure why. Oh yeah, because of course since I set this variable selected tile, no, not this one, sorry, region start here in the loop that draws everything, for a couple of tiles it will be invalid. Like this test, this test will be with a wrong edit region start, since I set it only during the loop. That's kind of annoying. I guess we can look at that later. It's not too bad. Now the crucial functionality is when we release the mouse and we are in rect mode, we should draw all the tiles in that rect. So, and oh yeah, and when we release, the mouse will not be down anymore. So I suppose rect mode will not be active. So I suppose I can pull that out of here again. I'll clean it up later, but yeah. And ask that we draw the rects preview only if the mouse is down. That should still be the same. And so my rect mode now, I can use it to draw everything when we release the mouse. And so how will I do that? So if we're hovering blah 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 blah. I guess if the mouse was just released, right, then here we should draw everything that is included in this, basically. And where does this end? Here. Up. So let's pull that out. In editing region. This can go here, and we can use that here. So if we are in the editing region, then we should actually draw. And that I can just copy this for now. And let's see. Oh, I should select a tile. I think it's unselecting each time I hot reload. Okay, no, it doesn't work yet. Oh, something changed. Okay, of course it draws, not of course, it draws the last, it draws at the cursor location. So I suppose it's executing this one. No, it doesn't really make sense. It should be so what's going wrong? Yeah, so I'll just check if my assumption is correct. I attach the debugger from here. use a little trick to attach the debugger interactively. Okay, so shift, drag, release. Okay, so we are arriving here. We are in the editing region for which coordinate? For which coordinates? Let's see. X is 15, y is 26. I guess that's this one, probably. No, because y is bigger than x. Strange. Let's double check. 15, 26. Oh yeah, of course. It was drawing only at the end of my rect. So if I do it like this, I suppose this will be y 0 and x 6 or something. So y 0, x 7. Yeah. Okay. So y. That's the question. Hovering. Oh, okay. I'm very dumb. I'm doing that only for the hovered cell. So of course it's not gonna work. It's not going to work. So let's see. I should structure probably my code very differently, but I prefer to try it like that. And then when I know more what I need, I can structure it better. So I just pulled out this piece of code out of the hovering if statement. So that should, alright, okay. So now we are actually carving in the tile map. And why is it deleting stuff instead of adding? Because I didn't select anything here. Oh, jeez. Okay, so I wasn't expecting. Okay, so we have some problems with input handling under the window, it seems. I'll check. Ah, yeah. Okay, I guess I see why. But okay, so currently we are. So now I'm not holding shift anymore, so it's kind of bugged. I guess the shift is stuck. Oh, my code is bugged. Okay, let's restart this one. Editing, selecting a tile. Okay, so that's the normal mode. Now shift. Okay, it's working again. I think it's a bug in the so-called app header where sometimes shift gets stuck for some reason. I'm not sure why. Need to investigate that sometime. Okay, so now I can finally draw some squares. And there is this flashing that is quite annoying. I would like to fix it. I don't know exactly what's the best way. I suppose we can explicitly check if edit region start is set or not. Could do that. But not sure I want to do that now. Okay, so now there is a right click that is supposed to carve instead of put down some cells. And this is working well in normal mode, but not in rect mode, of course. So let's see if we can do something about that. I'll just duplicate this, because basically we just want to check if the right mouse button is down, just like we check for the left mouse button. And we want to do basically the same thing. We just want to set the region start. So I could just merge those two, I guess. Up, up. Alright, and now somewhere we have the rect mode. here we check if the mouse is down, and then we draw the preview for when we are in rec mode. We could check if the mouse is down and if the left mouse button is, or if the left mouse button is down. I guess that's fine. Button down, click, and that's the right mouse button. Okay, so now we draw the preview, but we still, so I'm holding shift. Oh no, shit, I was holding the left mouse button instead of the right. So let's see if I do it with the right mouse button. It doesn't work. Okay, not yet. Okay, so let's see, where do I use, oh, compilation error. Did not notice this one. I should add some warning when it doesn't compile in game. Okay, so select the tile, so I can draw some squares, but the right mouse button doesn't work for squares. Okay, for regions. That's pretty wrong. It should be mouse just rest. This is the default one that checks the left mouse button, and this is the same function but with button suffix that checks the button that you specify, and the left mouse button is 0 and the right mouse button is 1. And I could do like right mouse button right, I think is 1. Yeah, that's, by the way, that's the IDs of GLW, I think, that I just copied and renamed. Although I use a so-called app, but they use the same IDs. Alright, let's see. Okay, editing, drawing some rects, and now with the right mouse button. Okay, good. And now I just need to actually edit when I release. So the editing I did, I was doing here, so I should maybe add some comments. So if the mouse just released, or the right mouse button just released, so specifying the button, yeah, not the best naming. Alright, so if we are in the region, we set it to the current tile ID, selected tile ID, but if we are erasing, we set it to 0, so other way around. Okay. Right, should be good enough. No, okay, forgot semicolon. Alright. Alright. Hold on. Okay. So now I can add a rect, and I can delete a rect. So I should be able to do some level design with that. Alright. So that's already something. The code is not the cleanest, but it's working. I could clean it up a little bit, but let's leave it at that for now. Now what I want to do is improve a little bit the UX, because that's terrible as it stands. So I'll just commit this. So I guess that's it. Tile map allow drawing and erasing. Okay. And so to improve a little bit the UX, what should I do? Yeah, I guess I'm not sure I want to do that right now, because that will let me edit the levels pretty well, I think. Like it's already enough to have some cool gameplay. So perhaps I should just get started on player movement. Yeah. Okay, I'll do that. So I'll launch the actual game. That's the game. It works as well. Good. And real quick, I will change the tile map asset, because that's not the correct tile map from the initial project. The initial project is here. It has, that's the Godot project. It should have tile sheet, tile sheet. That's the one. And it has also a sprite. I don't know how to pronounce that. This program that allows you to draw pixel art editor, basically. So I'll copy it as well, so that later on, if I want to modify it, I can just use the. So I replace the tile set, tile sheets. I can just open this one up and then export the PNG. It would be nice if we could import directly the sprite files, but for now I don't have that capability in the engine. Alright. So you can see the tiles hot reloaded. That's pretty cool. Just by changing the file in the game assets folder, it hot reloaded in the game. So let's get started on the player movement, I guess. So I should also import the kid. Where is the kid? Yeah, nice. I'm pretty happy with the animation. I'm not usually like doing art for game jams or games, but I was lucky that this one turned out pretty okay, I think. So let's import the kid in the actual game. That's the file that contains the logic for the game. Let me show you just the structure real quick. We have an entry function here that will get called when the game is loaded by the engine, basically. Also when you hot reload the game code. And this is a description of the game. Yeah, with the clear color, the name, stuff like that. And we pass it some callbacks, including like a render function here. And the render function is the one where you should draw the world, draw the actual graphics on the screen. And for now, in that render function, so this is just so the hot reload works for assets. I should probably pull it out of here later on. And this is just basically, this says that we are starting rendering in a frame buffer, like in an off-screen frame buffer, in an off-screen frame buffer that has the size of the game we want to display. So basically we render to a buffer that has the resolution of the pixel art, if that makes sense. And this is a function also declared in the same file that just moves the translate everything that we will draw past that function, after that function, it will translate it by some amount. So I should be able to, for example, if I put like 100 here, everything will shift by 100 pixels. So that's useful to implement camera movement, which we will do soon enough. Maybe not today, but when I continue. So that's it. And so for the game itself, we should render between transform word push and transform word pop inside that off-screen buffer. And then this should not be needed anymore, I'm not sure. And then here we draw the tilemap editor. So if I comment it out, it disappears. If I put it back, it reappears here. And that's the console window that appears when I hit a key combination. Alright. So we draw our time map, and then we should draw a player here. Draw player. We can start by just drawing a rect. Draw rect. Draw rect. Draw rect. And we have to give it some coordinates. So let's say 0, 0, and 8, 8, and we'll make it red, color red. And here you can see our player is here. Let's make it a little bit narrower, 4 or 5, and a little bit shorter, so 6. Okay. 4. Alright, I don't remember in the actual game what size it has. Yeah, it's okay, interesting, it's taller than one tile. So maybe I should already quote my collision logic later on with that in mind. So let's taller than one tile a little bit. I guess the collider is narrower than one tile. So let's put like 6. Okay, good enough. Let's go with 10. Okay. So we have our little player. We can go ahead and store the player position in the game state. The game state is supposed to be all in one struct. So don't, yeah, this is a lot of like stuff to import the sprites and stuff. I just copied it from a previous project. I should probably clean it up at some point. And this is the game state struct. Currently it holds stuff that is not supposed to be in there. I could move it. I could move it to game resources, perhaps. And otherwise it's empty. And I want to make it hold the player position, player pose. Alright, so I'll just need to fix the various things since I moved something. Move the buffers, the off-screen buffers. Alright. One more. Oh, a bunch more. Okay, I should really search and replace perhaps, but almost there. Okay. Okay, no, okay. Let's do it like this. Up. Shape. Okay. Okay. Compiles. It runs. Player pose. So now we can use that player pose to position our rect. Player rect. Player. To position our rect. So let's first of all make it a variable. Rect. And let's say So of course I could go like this, player pause, X, player pause. Yeah, I think I'll do that. And then just subtract. So the y-axis is going down in my engine from the top left of the window. So we have to subtract the height of the player. And here we want the player pose to signify the middle of the, like where the feet would touch, so the bottom of the box. So we had to remove, to subtract half of the width. And for now I'll just hard code it. Okay. So now probably we won't see anything. Probably we won't see anything because it's out of view here on the origin. But we can set the player position to something like vec2 0 0. Not 0 0, sorry. That's the points, like 100 100. Save. Okay, and now it's probably at the right place. So let's put it less low on screen, maybe 40. Okay. And now we want it to be affected by gravity, or maybe already like just player input. That would be a good first step. So we are doing that in the render function. So perhaps we should set the player position in the init function that gets called once at the start of the game. So here it's doing some stuff for the time map. Okay, so when we launch the game up, it's at the correct place still. And then before the actual rendering, we'll do the game logic here. Game logic. No need to decouple rendering and game logic for now. So we just go like player pose Y, and then or X actually. I wanted to do the player input. So input directional, I think is the one I want. So input directional will just take the arrow keys and the WASD keys and output vector2 out of it. And so what we can do is just increment the player pose on both axes with that directional input. So let's see what it does. Okay, now using either the arrows or the WASD, I can move my player already. That's nice. Now let's give it some gravity. So we want to have, I guess we want a velocity, to store a velocity. So player vel. Okay. And that velocity will start at 0 by default. But then each frame we want to increase it. So on the y-axis we want to increase it by let's say 0.1. We'll see how it goes. And then the position should be incremented by the velocity. Pose y increment by the velocity. Okay. Up. All right. So now it's just falling. And we probably want a way to reset the simulation easily at any point, so we can test better. So if the key was just pressed, and the key will be R, and we'll add a modifier. So key just pressed with mods mod command. That's control on Windows and command on Mac. Should probably rename it. But so if I do Control R, it will return true. and then I will call a function called reset that I will define just now. What reset. I don't know if it's already defined actually. No. Okay. And so this will reset the game state. So I could just zero out the game state, but yeah, actually, why not? So game state is equal to game state. Okay, that's a pointer, so I need to dereference the pointer here. And so the initial position of the player that I set in init here, I should set it in reset instead, and also call reset from init. So reset is not declared at that point. I'll just move reset up. Alright. And okay, so we set the initial position of the player in reset, and we call reset in init, and then we can also call reset when we do control or command R. Okay, so now when I do command R, the player comes back at the initial position, which is nice. Okay, moving on, we can draw a little floor, and now we would like that the player stops at the floor, right? So that should be rather easy to do. We just want to, here, when we move the player, we want to make sure that we are not moving into a tile, right? So how do we do it? We take the position of the player and we look, we get its cell, I would say, in the tile map. So tile map at pose, I think. So pose, no. Tile map. Chords from pose, that sounds good. So we give it the position of the player. It's already in world space, not screen space, so that's fine. We get back some coordinates. Player chords. Okay. And what I want to do is check if below the player there is some ground, like not in the cell that the player is in, but below. So what I should do is increment the player chords by 1 on the y-axis. So it's not player chords anymore, but that's okay. And I should check in the tile map. Yeah, that's the one. So this will return what kind of tile is in a specific cell, and I should pass it a tile map, a layer index. Currently we have only one, and then the 2 coordinates. So the tile map will be res tile map. That's where I store it in a struct called resources res. It survives hot reloads, code hot reloads. Then the index will be 0, and we got the 2 coordinates. Would be nice, I guess, if it was passed as a vector 2, but I don't know, it depends maybe on the usage. That should be passed as a pointer, and this is not, it's not happy because I forgot to pass the tile size, same problem as before. So the tile size is, I guess I can use like res tile map tile size x. It's not named consistently. I should really improve all of those, but again I'll do that later because I don't want to stop in the middle of implementing collision. So here we should get the tile ID, I think I call it, of the tile below the player, and as the documentation says here, it should return -1 if it's out of bounds, the tiles that we passed, which is kind of neat, because then we don't have to cover for out of bounds coordinates when we add one here. So if the tile ID, basically we want to know if the tile is solid, and the way it works is the cells are stored, like the auto tiling doesn't influence what cell you put in a specific, what tile ID you put in a specific cell. So when I draw like this, I put I think ones in each cell. The auto tiling doesn't change that. It's just a rendering thing. The auto tiling only applies when it renders, so it doesn't. So I don't have to like check for a multitude of different type of tiles, tile IDs. I can just check for tile ID 1. So if the tile below is 1, perhaps we can just stop going downward for now. So let's do the inverse actually. If the tile is not 1, then we allow the player to move downwards. Oh, that's not the correct variable, sorry. So that would be this. We don't apply, no, this. It's already a bit messy. We don't apply the gravity if the tile below is not grass or a ground tile. So we apply the gravity only if we don't have a ground tile below. Alright. Okay, so that kind of works as expected, in the sense that when we are like here, we are already in this tile, so it checks the tiles below, and it's a ground, so it stops moving downwards, so that's good. And then when we go left, so right now we just shoot through the ground, because I think the vertical velocity was getting higher and higher, like we never stop it, so it increases infinitely, and then when we go to the left, we just teleport through the ground. So that also makes sense. We should just, when there is a collision, like not a collision but a tile below, we stop incrementing or we reset the velocity, the vertical velocity to 0. That way, that way we just gracefully fall on the when we go outside the ledge. Alright. So now we don't want to just stop whenever we enter the tile above a ground. We want to stop when we arrive at the bottom of that tile, right? So what we can do here is basically that's a technique that I like. I just determine a height past which I cannot go lower. So sorry for my English, it's breaking down a little bit. I try to figure out until the maximum coordinate I can go in the y-axis until I should stop. Very badly explained, but let's see. In this case, if the tile ID is actually 1, that means there is ground below our current tile. And so we should try to figure out what's the furthest we can go down. So float limit y max or something like this, or y max. I'll call it y max. So y max will be initially like infinity. Let's put a very big number, and when there is a ground on the cell below, we want to set that y max to the bottom of that cell below, right? So how do we do that? We go I think there is also a util method or function. Tile map chord from pose. Pose from chord or rect? Rect? No. Okay, so let's write one, because that's what we are here for. So I'll do a new function, utility function to retrieve, let's do a rect, the rect of a cell at chords. And then we return a rect. And we take in coordinates, so that would be integers, chords. And so instead of taking the tile size, I will do what I should have done on the other one, on this one, which is to take in a tile map directly. I think that's probably better, even if it's technically less flexible. I think it will be better. So tile size here can take like the tile pixel value. Okay, and actually, yeah, I should replace the whole thing. So we want to find a rect. So technically, when we render, we already built a rect here. So I should be able to just take that. Actually, yeah, it's extremely simple. Whoops. Let me go back to the tile map. It's really dumb. Like we just multiply the x and y coordinates by the size of the tile. That's maybe why I didn't do a utility method, a function, because it was just too trivial actually. And so instead of x and y, it will be chords x and chords y. So I don't know if I should keep it, to be honest, because indeed it's pretty trivial. But I'll try it, and if I don't like it, I'll remove it. So tile map rect from chords. Something like this. Cell rect maybe. It's a bit verbose, but it's okay. I like it like that. And we are editing this. Okay, so we take. So we pass in the tile map. I forgot it was in resources. Tile map as a pointer, and we pass the coordinates of the player cell, like the cell that we have our feet in, and that we found here. Up. Okay, that gives us a rect, and now we need the bottom of the rect. So, so let's put it in a variable, and then y and so my rects have a position and a size. That's the position, that's the size. And what I do is just to get the bottom, I take the position and add the size, and that gets me the bottom of the rect. And I assign it to y max. Remember that y goes down in the coordinate system. And so now what I could do is simply clamp the player position with, so if game state player position y is higher or equal than or as y max, then we want to set that back to y max. Sounds good. and we also want, so that's when there is a collision basically, so we can already try that. Okay, so it doesn't work. Did it compile? Fine. Let's check the build system. Yes. What did I do wrong then? So now it's a bit tricky. Oh, I forgot that I did this to show off the kind of detection. So I should remove that that thing, because of course it was not falling anymore past a certain point. Oop. Okay, so that's, I held shift during my drag, and so the origin was still at the top corner. That's something I should fix. Okay. Okay, so now it's falling through the thing. Not sure why. So let's see. So if the tile ID is 1, yes. Do we actually get here? Let's see. So it's attaching the running game. Oh, we do get here. We do get here. Even though we are far away at this point. Like we fell through the floor. So I'm not sure why we are here. Tile ID is 1. Maybe when we are outside of the tile map, it's considered as ground. I think that must be it. So let's detach. Okay, so what I will do is just stop increasing the gravity each frame, so that I can just move freely, right? And so now I can debug my collision. So when I go down, it doesn't actually stop at any point. So let's put back the breakpoint. Let's attach. Should probably always run in the debugger, but it takes some time to start up on macOS, which is annoying. So we do hit this, I guess, because we are already in the next cell. So let me remove the breakpoints, continue, and okay. So when we are here, do we hit it? No. So yeah, this was actually working before, so I don't know why I'm testing it. Just double checking, I guess. So this perhaps is not correct. Player chords. Oh, don't tell me this is 0. Map. No, 8, 8. Okay, that's correct. Chords. So it sounds pretty trivial. I don't know. So okay, let's just oops. Can close that. So I just relaunched. Okay, didn't work. Okay. Okay. Tac. Up. Okay. Guess what I can do is track that rect. So track R. And then it should show here, but it does not. Hold on. Up. Of course, because there is no ground below, of course. Okay, so if I go down, okay, so 56 doesn't sound wrong, like y is equal to 56. Oh! That's not the issue, but I mixed up the axis here. not the issue because the rect is supposed to be square anyway. So what the fuck is going on? This is just not working at all, I guess. Yeah, it's never hitting that code path. Why? I feel quite stupid. Ah, yeah, okay. So I kind of forgot that this is not. It's my fault. I named that variable player chords. So basically the cell of the in which the player is. Then I incremented it by 1, so it becomes the ground cell or chord. The chord of the cell with the ground below us. And so now I took the bottom of the bottom position of the rectangle of that cell. So basically I was checking my limit was not here but here, right? Not here but here. Actually I should visualize that limit perhaps. Draw a line. I visualize it here. So draw a line. The starting position will be a small number on the x-axis. So I want to draw a horizontal line. So basically start and end will be like that. And the height, which is the important thing, will be y max. And then the width of the line will be like, I think it's a little bit bugged. I will make it pretty thick and make it cyan. Okay. I can remove that breakpoint. Save, continue. Whoops. It's not drawing any lines as far as I can tell. Wait a sec. Yeah, okay. I'm super stupid. I'm drawing below everything basically. So this is a simulation, like the code that simulates the game, and that's the code that draws the game. So if I draw my line before, it won't work. So I should draw it here, basically. Okay, still no line. It compiles. Okay, let's try maybe a line with fixed coordinates. 0, 0, 10, 10. Yes, I can see it's below the window here. So the line drawing is kind of working. Is working, but for some reason this one is not. It's annoying. Y max has a value of 64 currently. So that's a bit embarrassing. I really wish it would work. So I should probably debug it. At the same time, it's not what I wanted to do in the first place. Let's try also to just draw a rect. Draw rect 0, and then the height will be y max, and then the width will be very big, and then the height will be 1 pixel, and then that will be cyan. Okay. Okay, so now we can see a line. So I don't know why this version didn't work. I should look here, and I think there is many problems with this function that I should fix, but not now. I leave it here to check later. Okay, so we have our line. That's the limit, and you can see it disappears whenever so when we enter this cell, the cell below us is ground. So we check the bottom of that cell and we set the limit to that. And then when we go down, since the limit was set to low, we are able to get into the ground, and the cell below is also ground, and so we set the limit here. So that's why it didn't work, because I misnamed my variables, first of all, here. And that phenomenon made it so that it was always checking, like I should have picked basically the top of that rect, not the bottom. So I guess I can actually just, no, I was gonna say I can do that, but no, because I still need to check below the player. So player cards, okay, I'll just, here, instead of accessing the player cards, I'll access the player cards y plus 1. Alright. Then player cards is not lying anymore, it's still the cards of the player. So we should be able to use that for the limit. Okay, great. Although it doesn't yet work, I think it's just because I'm moving here directly, never checking anything. So what I should do is calculate or determine the limits first, then apply the movement, then clamp or limit, like apply the limits. So check how set or calculate limits, move, clamp, or collision. Alright, that should do it. No. Okay, so maybe we are dealing with basically an edge case. Usually what I do, let's see. Usually what I do is I suppose that when we are setting, so let's check that we hit that code path actually. Hit. Yes, we hit for 1 frame each time we are inside this code path, this if. So when we reset to y max, I suppose that places the player in a spot where it thinks it's in this cell, like it's literally an edge case. So what we want to do is set the limit a little bit higher, so that like it's kind of a hack, but it works. Minus margin, I'd call it margin, and margin will be a small number. Const float margin 0, something like this. Alright, now it works. So what I did is just the limit now is a tiny bit higher up, and then we don't have that edge case problem anymore. Okay, so now we could also increase the velocity every frame, and when we collide at the bottom, set the velocity back to 0. Yeah, I think it works kind of. So let's do a little test level. Can I go down this? Yes, I can. So the problem is, of course, now we are only checking with the middle of the box, the rect, the player rect. So if I just, my feet are barely, or the center of my player is barely out of, past the ledge, I fall. That's, of course, a problem, but the basics are working. That's nice. Da, da, da. And so currently I don't have any collision on the sides, and I will do that now. So currently it's kind of messy, but I'm trying to do it step by step just to show what's my process. So I need two limits, one on the left and one on the right, and it will be x max and x min, and this will be very small and this will be very big. Maybe I can use infinity, yeah, and negative infinity I think you can do with a minus for floats without problems. Okay, and so instead of checking the tile below, I should check the tile on the right and on the left, and probably also the tile here and here for later, because if I'm tall and there is a tile here, I shouldn't be able to cross, so I should also check this one. But for now we can just check this and this. So let's see. Let me think. That's where we test the tile below, right? Perhaps I can move that because I don't need that tile ID much. I can just put that here. Yep. And that would be the test for the ground below. That would be the test for left. Can we move these limits? Well, we can try all the limits, track all the limits. So y max, x min. All right. So that's left. So instead, okay. So when I retrieve which tile type I have at the coordinates, I take the player coordinates. Instead of adding 1 to the y to get the one below, I will subtract 1 to the x axis, so I get the tile, the cell on the left. And if that gives me 1, so if there is some ground there, then I need to adjust the limit on the left, so x min. Okay, and that will be, so instead of taking basically the rect that I will get from my coordinates. Hold on. Oh yeah. Okay, so when I get the rect, that's now the rect of the player position, so this one. So I want to get the left side of the rect, so that's just the x coordinate of the rect. So I can just do my limit, I can just set it to the x coordinate of the rect. And I'll put a little margin as well. It needs to go in the other direction in this case. And what did I fuck up? Okay, that's weird. What? So that's completely, oh, something really bad is going on. with my build system. I'll just relaunch it. Not sure what's up. Okay, that's strange. It doesn't usually happen, so that's maybe a new bug. Okay, so the collision on the bottom still works. I can. Okay, collision on the left side doesn't work yet. Okay, let's go. Let's see. So left. Oh yeah, of course. I set the limit, but then I don't use it anywhere. So I should just here I should clamp. So x, if it's smaller or equal than x min, we set it to x min, and that's on the x axis. And we don't do anything for the velocity. Or actually we could set it to 0 in case we want to implement friction and stuff later. Up. Okay, it works for the left side. I cannot go past an obstacle on the left. It's good. Although we have the same problem that it's from the middle basically of the direct, so that I should arrange that later. Oh yeah, and I want to draw also a line, just like I did for the bottom one, because I think it's nice to visualize what's going on. So I'll do it like this: x min 0, and then the size, the width of the line should be 1, and the height of the line should be big. And that should do it. Yes. Okay. The limit just appears because when there is nothing on our left, it's just at minus infinity. And then we'll do the same for the max one. And the max one I didn't set up yet, I think. Right. So that's the left test. Oops, we got the right one here, and so now we want to test at the coordinates to the right of the player, so +1 on the x-axis, and we want to take the right of the rectangle, so that would be the coordinates of the world position of the origin of the rectangle plus the width of the rectangle. Up. Okay, so it didn't work. I guess I messed up the I messed up something. Clamp. So first of all, I forgot to add the clamping. I think that's just that. It had that behavior before probably also. So if the position in x is higher than x max, yes, we set x to x max. Okay, so we are blocked, and are we blocked? No. So I fucked up something different. Okay. I'm struggling a little bit today. X. Oh god. I set x min instead of x max, so of course it won't work. Still doesn't work. So x max. Margin. that looks correct to me, I guess. Okay, I'm a bit confused. Let's see. So which limit is that actually? Let's when we draw the limits, let's give a special color to the max one. So to the right one. Let's make it purple. Okay, so that's the right one. So basically the limit is correct for me. It looks correct. Ah, did I mess up the margin? Yeah, I'm quite dumb. So when we go right, then the margin should be subtracted instead of added. Otherwise, otherwise it can't work. Okay, right? Not too bad. So now we have basically a working character. It just doesn't have any width. Basically, it's a line, a vertical line. Not even, it's a point, because we can even pretend that we can jump. It's not really the case, but looks like we can. So adding the jumping is easy. We just have to set the velocity. So I will just disable, where is my input code? Here. So I'll disable the fact that you can move vertically. Actually, in this game, I think there is no actual jumping. The way it works is there is jumping, but there is not a key dedicated to jumping. When you are a frog, okay, I got the. Okay, when you are a frog, when you hold right, it charges your jump. When you release, it jumps. Same with the left button. And when you are a kid, you can just not jump. So I think I don't even need to implement actual jumping. Or yeah, vertical jumping. Just the frog jumping is needed. All right. Maybe I can actually do that and then stop the stream because I'm getting tired. I don't know if people are watching or not. I see maybe Story is still around. Story, which by the way was programmer on this game jam project, had to deal with Godot, but it was a fun project. I think it turned quite good. You can try the game, by the way, on itch.io if you want. So yeah, I'll try to implement the frog movements, or maybe actually no. I'll try to put some graphics for the player, so we have a little kid running around. I think that would be nice. So we have this PNG with all the frames of the animation. I think all the frames should have the same width. So what we should do is load it at startup. And currently, the way I do that is I have a function called asset import, or import asset, sure, up. And here, so you saw the resource struct before. The resource struct is just a struct that hangs around across hot wheel roads, just like the game state struct, and I can store some stuff in it. For example, I can store a handle to a sprite or an image. and in this case I want to store a handle to this image. I'm trying to think if I should import a sequence of sprites. No, yeah, I think I will just import. I'll just start with the image. So that's just a handle, an asset handle, and then I can go import assets, local import image, local because it's local to this game. Basically, it has a prefix, and I can import the kid image PNG, and this shouldn't be set to like assigned to tile sheet. It should be assigned to well, okay, I named it image. I wasn't really thinking. I mean kid image. Alright, kid. Okay, and the tile sheet, I think, yeah, in the loading function I also give it an ID, which is like all of this I would rather not have to do, but for now it works like this. Is it still necessary? I'll have to check. But now I have in my resource struct I have a handle to the kit image if everything worked, and I can draw it. So in render, basically where I was before. Here, I should be able to draw it. Let's try draw image, or draw yeah, image. I'm forgetting how it works now. Draw texture. Okay. I forgot that this function didn't have the prefix that I set to everything in my engine because it's kind of a work in progress, I guess. It's the new version of the system. So up kid, and then I give a rectangle into which it should draw. So okay, and then a color. And that should already show something. Yeah, so now there is stuff up here. Of course, it's completely fucked. Let's just make it bigger so we can see what's happening. Okay, so we can see all the frames of the animation in one image. Now, a frame in this animation has a specific size. I think it's probably something like 16 by 16. Sounds about right. So we can draw a rect of this size, 16 by 16. And where should we draw it? We should draw it at the player position. So I'll just already fix that up. And half of the size, no, this full, okay, this should be centered, right? Okay, I think it's working. Now we draw all the frames at once. We want to adjust what part of the source image we draw. Right, we don't want to draw the full thing, we want to draw a subsection, and we can do that with draw image UVs, which accepts a UV rect. And let's make it 16 by 16, and that should show the first frame of the animation. No, not at all, it doesn't work. Okay, what did I fuck up? Oh yeah, it's a UV rect, so it is in normalized coordinates. So I guess I should divide by the width of the image, ideally. I could look up or do it. Yeah, I could look up the. I'll just hardcode the width of the image for now. I can query it, but I don't want to get into that. So 144, and make it a float. Otherwise, we'll get just a int value. And the height is 16. So I think it's just one, basically, right? No need to restart. Okay, so now we have a kid. That's cool. We can stop drawing the red rectangle. Maybe we can keep it around as a border on top of the image so that we can see the hitbox, basically. But for now, I comment it out. Whoops. And now we want to flip through the different frames of the animation, right? So we just change the UVs depending on the current animation frame. We don't have yet a concept of animation frame, so we can make one. Let's put it in the game state, just next to the player position for now. Player anim. Actually, what's in this atlas? We have I guess that's just when the kid is standing. That's the blink. The eyes are closed. So the first three frames are idle. The next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frames are run. So first 3 frame idle. So I can flip through the first 3 frames to play the idle anim. I'll go to the game state, player anim frame index or something. And here the first, like this is the UV rect, right? And so I can like multiply so in terms of UV, the width of a frame is 16 divided by 144. So I can multiply that by my frame index, and as I increase the frame index, which is in the game state by the way, so game state, stack. So this should show me the first frame. And then if I increase it to 1, yeah, now it's blinking, the kid is blinking. And then 2, eyes open again. Then 3, beginning of the run animation. 4, running. Okay, so what I need to do is just increment this every so often. How can I do that? I need a timer. Okay, so I'll just add a timer here for the run animation. Okay, player anim run. Okay, one sec. Up. Alright, so now we just have to flip through the different animation frames. And how would I do that? I guess I need to store a sort of a delay per frame. So player name run delay, and I'll increment that every frame, and once it reaches let's say 1 second, I flip to the next frame index, something like this. So here I need the frame time. I'll just grab it straight from Sokol, and if this is higher than half a second, then I increment the frame index by 1. And then if the frame index is itself higher than 3, we reset it to 0. That should give us an idle animation. Let's see. Okay, so it's a bit fast, I guess. Yeah, that's because I never reset the delay, of course. So once it's bigger than half a second, I just straight away put it back to 0. And so now, yeah, we have a idle animation. I think it's going 1 frame too far. Yes, off by 1. Okay. Alright, and now, when we are actually running, so when, I suppose when the left or right button is pressed, so let's see, where is the input code? Here, right? Here. Maybe I can store that in some input movement input, and then I'll use the same value for the animation. Movement input. Right. Okay, so it won't be that easy, because so I need to set the frame index depending on whether we are moving on or not, and then it can just live its life and increment and set back to the start of the animation. But that's the thing, yeah. So maybe I can store like anim frame start index 0, anim frame end index is if the movement input is not 0, it means that we are running, so the last frame would be index 6, otherwise last frame would be index 3, right, or past the frame past the last one. I think that makes sense. And the first one would be 3 or 0, something like this. And then start can be used, start can be used here, and can be used here. Kind of weird. Let's see if it works somewhat. Yeah, but of course it updates only when it reaches when it ticks, when the delay reaches half a second. So it's not quite working, actually. Alright. I guess what I should actually do is first we check if we are running or not, right? So running. Then if we're running, we do this. That's actually pretty terrible, but let's try anyway. So if we are higher than 6, was it? Or 5? Go back to 3. Oh, we are not compiling. Okay. Okay, and then if we are not running, can do the same thing. Well, yeah, I don't know, because the frame index I'm struggling a little bit, because that should be quite easy to do actually. I know what I can do. I can just offset the base frame index depending on what animation we're playing. I think that would be perhaps better. So the frame index would just represent how far in each animation we are, and then the actual index of the sprites would be offset. So it's the same if we are not running, but if we are running, we offset it by 3, I think, right? And then all of this can be one foot path, and we just need like the last frame is different in depending on if we are running or not. So if we are running, we want 6 frames of animation, I think. No, let me count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yes, and if we are not running, 3 frames of animation. So if we are past 3 frames, we reset to 0. That should work, right? And then we use the sprite index here. Okay, so almost there. Just off by 1 mistake, I think. Huh. Hold on. So if the player frame index is bigger than 2. Oh yeah, I forgot to count 0 basically. Whoops. Alright, so now we are good. Of course the blinking is way too fast, so I should make it much slower. So I guess I can use the threshold here. If we are running, the threshold is 0.1, otherwise it would be maybe 2 seconds or something, so it blinks slowly. Yeah, but then it stays with closed eyes for 2 seconds. So yeah, we need custom logic, I guess. for now it will do. For now it will do. And this, by the way, this should really go outside of the timed thing, so it immediately switches when I start running and stop running. Perfect. And then the last thing I need to do, and then I think I will stop, is switch or mirror the player graphic so that it looks like I'm running in the correct direction and not moonwalking backwards. So I can take my UV rect here, extract it to a variable, and set, let's see, so I can increase its start position by the width of the rect and then negate the width of the rect, basically. That way it will flip the UV rect. Yes, the rect is flipped, and now I just need to flip it only if we are moving backwards or moving left. So what was it? Input something? Movement input. If the movement input is smaller than 0, then we swap it. Alright? That's already pretty good. It's enough to implement the first level of the game. Not the first level, but the very first interaction, or like basically the first screen doesn't allow you to go. Oh, right, okay, so you start here and you cannot go to the right because it's blocked. So you have to go left and fall down and say hi to the frog. And so that we can already implement our level design here. I just have to, whoops. That's where you can drop down. And that's the blocked path. And so when you start, boop, you're blocked and you have to drop down. And then we should implement some screen switching probably next time. Alright. Yeah, I think we're good for today. I guess one thing I can do is just remove the debug rect that I put on the tile map. Tile map, draw rect border, and then also remove the lines. So this is not working. And this is the debug lines. Alright. Okay, so that wraps it up for today, and next time I stream I will try to implement multiple rooms. So when you get to the left of the tile of the screen, it moves to the next room on the left, and then I suppose interaction with the animals, like being able to transform into a frog and jump around, and that will be pretty easy to do, I hope. We'll see. Alright, that's it for now.